Hey, hi Sam, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good, Sandra. Thank you.
How is everything going? How is life?
Well, I just finished my placement at the university, so I'm fully now on holiday. So I'm enjoying the summer.
That's really, really good. Anyways, today we're having this interview. And I'm having this little chit chat interview with you based
Mm-hmm.
on Lives Matter and how you did contribute a lot with it. Like,
Mm.
do you remember what happened last year, right?
Yeah,
There's everything, the madness of
yeah. All the placards and everything. I think it was one of the. It was a difficult moment for especially Black people. So yeah, it's not if you were part of it and you experienced it, it's not something that you forget in a hurry.
okay. My first question would be, what do you understand? Like, what is your understanding of Black Lives Matter?
My initial understanding, and I will come at it from this perspective because this is how I explain it to people. Because I've lived in Nigeria for almost my whole life. I've only spent 3 years here in the UK. I haven't really experienced racism
Okay.
as much as people who have spent their time Black people who have grown up in Europe and England and all these other countries in America and all that. Their experience of racism and segregation and all of this would definitely be different to how I interpret it or how I see it. That's the first thing. So my understanding of Black Lives Matter, I believe it's a movement to highlight some of the difficulties, or yeah, to highlight the difficulties that Black people face in our society or have faced from time to the world, and just to give a clear understanding or clarification of what we're going through as Black people and what we have to live through in our society today.
Okay. I know you are if I am not wrong, correct me. You're the president of the student union. And
I I was the sport and well-being officer, and
I
I just finished yesterday or 2 days ago. I can't remember.
do you think your student union participate? Like, did you guys support the movement?
I believe we because it was a very sensitive topic and very volatile at that point. Kusu did their best to they put out a statement to show their support, but we were discouraged from getting involved in any conversations because you don't want to go out there and say something that might be uh, um, yeah, might be sensitive to someone else. Yeah, because it was a very sensitive period, especially here in the UK and in America and around the world.
Like, how? Okay, you as a person. Let me just outside your student union. How did you
Mm.
support the movement?
Um, well, because it was the pandemic and I live with family that are vulnerable to COVID, so most of my support was on social media. Yes, yeah, I did all my support from social media, sharing things on my stories. When I go through things, when I read things, when I watch things, because a lot of people were putting out content. Because it was a learning curve for me because I hadn't experienced racism, so it was something I had to learn. I had to. It was something I had to learn because I didn't know what it was. I didn't know how it affected Black people who have grown up here in Europe and America and outside the African continent. So it was a learning curve for me. All I did was listen, and wherever it touched me or whatever information I felt was very important, I put it out on social media, and I was always pressing and pushing things on social media for people to watch and listen and learn.
Okay, you'd say you posted a lot on stories. Let me just say,
On my page,
what social? Okay, let me just start with what social media platforms did you use?
mostly Twitter and Instagram.
Okay, you post like a lot. Twitter, obviously,
Mm,
you a lot or you retweet.
yeah, yeah, I retweet.
did you like post on your main page, and then do you post on your status like your stories to like
I Most of my posting was done on my stories. I only posted once on my page, and that was the Blackout Tuesday.
okay? Like what do you
Yeah.
think Black House Tuesdays like stood for? Because everyone interpret like a very different and broad way. For you, what was it like? Was it
I
on social media because everyone was posting on social media, or let me post it because it had like a significant meaning? Or
to me, honestly, it was more of um a crowd thing. So I saw people doing it, and I asked a few questions. People gave me different answers, but relating answers to Black Lives Matter and the Black Lives Matter movement. So I most of my main decision, or my main decision to post it was based off on the crowd movement. It was a movement, so I had to join in the movement. I felt obliged to join in the movement.
like, do you think social media played like a big, like a major? Do you think like they played a major role in the movement, or you just think it's just a 5% of the 95% of everything else that happened in the real world and in online platforms?
I believe social media played a very big role in this because I mean, thankfully to the pandemic and how everyone was restricted from moving out. So our form of communication was via social media. So everyone was tuned in from their homes and seeing what was happening. Even those who could not go to the protest because they were shielding or they were too scared to come out because of COVID, they were able to see everything going on. People were live streaming, people were posting constantly, updating, and me, an example, I was seeing everything going on via social media. So it was a big help. Social media was a big help, especially during this pandemic period.
When you first watch, I'm just gonna go back to something quickly. I
Mm.
don't know. Did you first watch the video that came out, like the first video that came out of when George Floyd was on the floor? And would you have thought like this would have blown so much, or would you have thought like it would just be something
Honestly,
like something would have?
ho- honestly, I didn't think at initially when I saw the video, I was filled with disgust. I was filled with so much rage. It was painful. It was really painful watching the video, and I thought to myself, "Hmm, I don't know. I feel like fighting the system. I feel like really going somewhere and dragging some of these people who are perpetrating this. For instance, the policeman Derek Chauvin who knelt on George Floyd's neck. But then again, I was like, if this is, I don't know how much movement, because we are all locked inside. How would we raise our voices? It's all right. It's very easy to post things on social media, but how will we make our voices heard? How we will push things? And thankfully, people started to protest in small groups, and then it started to grow. In America, in Minnesota, in Minneapolis, it started growing to other states, and then all of a sudden, the world caught the fever, and it all blew up, and there it was surprising. But yeah, thankful. I was thankful that it happened that way.
Like, would you say? Would you consider the movement different in America, which that's where it all started, and the UK? Like what Black Lives Matter and that period stood for people in the UK than people in America.
I think the common fight is the segregation against black people and the racism towards black people. That's the common fight. Every country have their own different ways of how they perpetrated racism against black people. Americans have been very violent against black people, not so much as Britain has been. Britain hasn't been really, in modern Britain isn't really violent towards black people when racism. in Britain is a little more subtle than it is in America, or it has been in America. So every country have their own, I think their own struggles or their different struggles, but it's all under the umbrella of segregation and oppression of Black people.
Okay. Now, this is more a personal question. Do you think
Yeah.
what's been done was enough, or do you feel like we could have done way more, like above social media, above protesting outside? There was more for us to do instead of just being in that comfort zone, the usual comfort zone of protest, social media, or what was been done was enough. Do you understand the question?
Yeah, I understand the question, and I would go, but it just, I, in answering this question, I'll refer to what Trevor Noah said. He, and that stuck with me, which is there's no right way to protest. There's no right way to go about fighting against injustice when people are treated unjustly. There's no right, you can't say there's a right way to do things in that moment, because everyone is in their reptilian brain, everyone is in a fight or freeze mode. And if someone is fighting, they can't really process, they can't really reason at that point. So there's no reason, you can't say there should be a reasoning going on, or the person should think about doing things in a different way. I felt whatever happened last year was meant to happen the way it happened, and it has given birth to so many other um, protests about similar other things, that similar other oppressions, and all of that. For instance, the SARS movement and all in Nigeria. But then again, there's no right way to protest.
Okay.
There is no right way to protest.
You feel like what happened last year, it just gave people the confidence slash boldness to be able to like be more open and more outspoken on social media.
Yeah, it gave birth to people having their voices, on having understanding that they have a voice. You have a platform, you have a voice, and if you need to pass something out to the public and need to make your voices heard, there's a medium that you can go through. There are different mediums that you can go through to get your voices heard.
Interesting. That's very interesting. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you. It's all right, Sandra.
Thank
I'm happy to do this.
thank you so much.